Welcome to
Split the Defense,
where Jordan Webster and Ted Evans talk about the NHL and all things hockey.
Split the Defense
Is broadcasted on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM, and online at CJAI.CA.
Welcome to Split the Defense Hockey Podcast. Coming to you live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. All episodes can be found after recording on our YouTube channel at Split the Defense. To find us online, just search for Split the Defense on most social apps or at STDP Hockey on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Jordan Webster, alongside my co-host Ted Evans, who also runs production for our shows and creates all the music you hear during Split the Defense, or you don't hear. First things first, we have Willy Nilly. Tree Living. Brad Tree Living met with Pierre LeBrun recently, and now that Matthew's extension is complete, Tree Living confirmed William Nylander is next. So is he going to get signed? It sounds like they're really going to try. Tree Living mentioned Willie is a really important player and a really good player. We want to get him done too. That's next on the list. I'm not going to get into the play-by-play of it other than to say he's a very good player and you always want to keep the good players. And he's told me he wants to be in Toronto. That's the most important thing. If there's a desire on both sides, then you should be able to come to an agreement. But these things take time. They're all on their own independent deals and they have their own ebbs and flows. So I think we can put to rest of all the problems. I think that the next thing that he's going to try and do before he works on any other trades or signings or anything going on is going to be William Nylander. So hopefully that's just not face and it's all truth, because we want to see Willie stick around 8 more years. 8 more years. Come on, Willie. What the hell is Willie worth anyways? So I wanted to mention a few comparables, and Rantanen is just comparable to Ted. I don't know how comparable he actually is in points and goals and whatever have you, but he is probably comparable in some ways to Rantanen, and Rantanen makes 9.25. So Willie's asking price.
Yes.
Are you still here? Are we
I'm
there?
here.
Willie's asking
Yes.
price. Was I recording?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You.
Awesome.
We didn't lose you.
Willie's asking price of 10.5 is kind of ridiculous, and we all know that. But the Leafs are going to lowball him. They're going to get him like 8.5, and then he's probably going to settle somewhere around there. So, Ted, what do you think Willie is worth? Rantanen makes 9.25. Do you think Willie's worth more?
When's Rantanen signed that fairly recently, didn't he?
I think he's up in 2 years.
Ago? Oh,
2019.
He signed it in 2019?
2019, that's 4 years ago, yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, time goes too quick. So, well, for now, maybe, yeah. Then a contract that was signed. That's a thing I never take into account right off the top of the bat on these questions, but I'm starting to a lot more the more we talk about this, is the time and when it was signed, because things are changing quickly. Agents are getting crazy. Cap is going up. Cap has always been changing. So, there's a lot of things going on. I think that William Nylander is not worth more than Rantanen. So when Rantanen re-signs, he'll get more than Willie, obviously, is in my mind.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're
Willie's
right.
great, but I think Rantanen's better.
I think Willie's ask of 10.5 is maybe realistic for the cap jumping, as you say, because the cap's supposed to jump like a whole bunch. So maybe he just signs a short deal like Matthews does too and takes like 9.5 or something like that. Slightly more than Rantanen now, but Rantanen's deal will be up before that. It'll be 2 seasons. Then he'll make like 11, right? At least. I mean, the cap's going to be $90 million by then, so who cares?
Yeah,
right.
big time.
$11 million isn't the problem. It'll be the $15 million players you have to worry about. Right?
Yeah,
$11 million guy. Oh, that's fine. Mid-tier.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that Willie will get done. Tree Living thinks Willie will get done. I think we have lots of good hope. So, Ted, I have a mock trade. This came up on the good old Book of Faces, and I don't even know where, but I just copy and pasted it because it's ridiculous and awesome.
Okay.
And it had a lot of engagement. Would the Toronto Maple Leafs, William Nylander, look good in a Colorado Avalanche jersey?
I think so. I'll grow up my hair, grow up my little mustache, and I'll show you just how he looks.
The latest trade rumor making rounds on social media suggests that William Nylander may be traded to the Colorado Avalanche in the proposed trade. To the Toronto Maple Leafs, defenseman Bowen Byram at $3.85 million a year for 2 more seasons to be an RFA when the contract expires, so they still have his rights, and a first-round pick in 2024. To Colorado, William Nylander completing a sign and trade.
Right. I don't know. That's crazy. Obviously but Bo, I don't know.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think we like Bo too much.
You guys are so stacked on D though.
That's true.
Like
I know.
Defense is no problem in Colorado. They are just fine. They could spare one,
Yeah. And I think the one we had been talking about sparing one for a while, even last season, Sammy G was a name that got tossed around, might go somewhere, but we saw a lot of value in him too. And the thing with Bo Byram is he's young, so much potential. We've seen flashes and greatness from him already. He's playing, like you said, along a defensive core that's great, and so he's got space to develop and learn and do all these things. But we have seen a lot of kind of injuries from him over his time with Colorado already.
But you get William Nylander.
Well, okay. But
William Nylander is infinitely better than Bowen Byram.
Well, yes, if we're going player for player, yes. And that's why we've got the pick in there too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But so if we're player for player, yeah, Willie would be a nice addition. But I don't know.
If we were doing GM mode, if we were allowed to do that, just go on and do like a dual GM mode, would you trade me that right now? William Nylander from Bowen Byram in your first.
I would ask you to let me sleep on it. I would say, man, give me one night.
Okay, that's great. So don't sleep on this. The Avs have signed Thomas Tatar to a 1-year contract, $1.5 million value. How do you feel about that, Ted?
Pretty good, man. More depth. That's what we had when we won the Cup, was a lot of depth, and he's exactly that for us. He falls in. He's a depth addition. We got
Not only does he add depth to the offense, but also experience, which can help with some leadership on and off the ice. And with Gabriel Landeskog out for the season, the team may need contributions from veterans to help fill that role. Now, this will be the 5th stop in his career. Tatar scored 20 goals 7 times in his career while suiting up for Detroit, Vegas, Montreal, and New Jersey. And he scored 20 last year for New Jersey, so he's still doing it. It's not like it was way long ago. He's still doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So Chris McFarland had this to say. He said, Thomas has been consistent, productive player through his NHL career. He's a veteran winger who brings scoring depth to our middle six and can contribute at both ends of the ice. That I'm not sure I agree with. We are excited to have him under contract for this season, Chris ends with. And I am not sure that part is true, but that is great for Chris for putting that out there. Both ends of the ice. Maybe, yeah.
We'll see.
He'll help at both ends of the ice because he's a really good line changer.
Gets off
right quick, so the next guy can go in who can actually play a little defense.
Don't coast to the bench. Do not coast to the bench. If there's any kids listening out there going to do the old Don Cherry, any kids out there listening right now, keep your stick on the ice and don't coast to the bench. That's another one.
Yeah,
obviously.
Don't coast to the bench. Yeah, skate hard. Dang it.
Yeah.
Try hard. It's cool to try hard, guys. It's cool to try hard.
Yeah.
Oh, so this next thing is absolutely fucking bonkers, man. It's absolutely nuts. I have no idea what's going on here. There's so much talk about it. I'm just going to try and give all the information I can, and we need to have a conversation about this.
Let's go.
Per Per Paul Bissonnette on Spittin' Chicklets, Mike Babcock has allegedly been asking various Blue Jackets to see their phones and then airplaying their photos on his office TV.
What? What
so
is that?
Mike Babcock apparently called the Blue Jackets captain Boone Jenner into his office when he first arrived in Columbus, and Mike asked Boone to show him the photos on his phone so he could see what type of guy he is.
Wow.
Is
What
that
type
not
of
kind of
guy?
fucking weird?
That's fucking weird. I've never had
Okay.
that at a job interview. Even people I know don't ask me for that. Like, who does that? Who does that? Is that a rumor? Is this real? What's going on?
So there's so much information just going on. I didn't even get who this guy is, and I should have. Brian Hedger tweeted, spoke to two Columbus Blue Jackets officials. One says this being looked into, and the other says total bullshit. We'll clarify soon. Waiting on the clarification and or statement from the team. Paul Bissonnette tweets again, it's 100% true.
Wow. So he's leaning right into it. Biz nasty.
Oh, yeah. So this isn't the end of it, okay? So then Ryan Whitney says when players from Columbus... Oh, so this isn't even there yet. So this is the best part. So then Paul Bissonnette tweets, and he says something along the lines of, we're a players podcast, so if you fuck with the players, we're going to bend you over. No spit, no lube, sandpaper finish.
Wow, he's putting it all out there. Tell me how you really feel, Paul. Oh my god.
Oh, that's so good. So then Columbus Blue Jackets came out with a statement. Okay? Yeah. And it says,
official statement.
Mike Babcock. This is his first statement, okay? It's Mike Babcock speaking. While meeting with our players and staff, I asked them to share off their phones, family pictures as part of the process, getting to know them better. Yeah, there was absolutely nothing more to it than that. The way that this was portrayed on the Spittin' Chicklets podcast was a gross misrepresentation of those meetings and extremely offensive. These meetings have been very important and beneficial, not only for me, but for our players and staff as well. And to have them depicted like this is irresponsible and completely inaccurate. So Boone Jenner has a statement as well, but that's Mike Babcock. Okay. So Mike Babcock says that is not how it went down. It is. They did look at the pictures, but it wasn't like that. It was totally different. So Boone Jenner says, while meeting with Babs, he asked me about my family and where I'm from, my upcoming wedding, and hockey-related stuff. He then asked if I had pictures of my family, and I was happy to share some with him. He showed me pictures of his family. I thought it was a great first meeting and a good way for us to start to build a relationship. To have this blown out of proportion is truly disappointing.
Okay, that's well said from his position, because I believe that a little more. That sounds like a normal conversation.
You want to believe that a little more.
You do.
You're so naive, you naive little bastard. It's not. So I was listening to Steve and Adam and Jesse go on today about it, and you know what? They made good fucking points. Like, this is a total media move. Have you you've been mediated before? Do you just get mediated all the time? You can the media will just come out and media you?
It's a thing.
Pretty sure
they do that.
That you know better. So, Paul Bissonnette tweets again. And he says, tell Babs to knock off the bullshit. Enough with putting guys on the spot in the coach's room, asking them to link their phones up to airplane mode and grilling them. I've had tons of players confirm it. Smarten the fuck up, Babs. Shove your statement up his ass.
Wow.
That's his exact words. I'm not exactly sure how that means at the end there. Ryan Whitney then tweets as well from Spittin' Chicklets podcast. And he says, when players from Columbus make a statement that the characterizations of Babcock from Biz and myself are false, just know that's bullshit. I feel bad putting the players in a tough spot, but Babcock is a complete weasel and shouldn't be coaching in the NHL.
Wow. Yeah, they're just saying it all, eh? They're putting it out there.
Man, if anybody's well connected to players in the NHL, it's going to be Biz and Whitney. Like, these guys know. And like, do you think that they went out of their way to do this to get clicks? Like, Biz is on TNT. They get like hundreds of thousands of views on their podcast. So this is what was mentioned on the Steve Dangle podcast. And it's like, oh, no, you make a good fucking point. Now, I didn't even get to the point that I'm going to make. I couldn't get through the episode. But the point that I'm going to make is that they either A, have it out for them, Or B, guys have literally texted him and been like, this is true and it's bullshit. And I'm pretty sure Paul even shared a tweet about somebody texting him saying, he did this shit to me. You got to talk about this on the podcast. This is bullshit.
Wow.
So
Wow.
would you be okay right now if your boss was like in a meeting and like at the beginning you get a new boss and you meet him and like you're already working there, right? Because like Boone Jenner's the captain. He was already working there, but you get a new boss at your job and then your boss wants to meet you and you're having like a first meeting interview and he says like, hey, do you got any pictures on your phone you'd like to share? Like, no. Do you want to do that? Like,
No. Yeah, no, right? Who does?
I just
That's
think
crazy.
That's fucking weird. So Mike
It is.
Commodore also had this to say. All of this is 100% true. I heard about this exact same incident out of Columbus 6 weeks ago. I recently have heard about it happening to multiple players and staff. So even his staff members, he's like, hey, share me pictures of like, why do you need to see pictures of my family?
Yeah, what is that? That's so weird.
Nobody does that. Like, dude, we're best friends. I've never once been like, hey, bro, show me pictures off your phone of your family and shit.
Well, and Ryan Whitney says, I feel bad putting, these people in a tough position, the players. He's not the one putting them in a tough position. It sounds like Babcock is. But just calling it out it's got to be said, right? Because, now these guys have to come out with this BS media statement, this bullshit media statement, and say, you can't, as a player, come out to the media and say, yeah, it's true, our coach is a prick. You got to come out and give the statement they tell you to, because these are the guys that are paying you. These are the guys
invested. They are invested because the coaches get paid no matter what. They sign the contract. They get paid no matter what. There's no buying them out. They get paid. They are invested in making sure that Mike Babcock is squeaky clean.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's their job to do that. So, no problem. So I have one more blurb from Elliot Friedman I'd like to read, and then I'm going to nail the coffin here.
Let's do it.
Friedman on 32 Thoughts podcast said, Mike Babcock has done this kind of thing for a long time. He's asked players for photos. He's asked management for photos. When he was being interviewed by the Blue Jackets, he asked them for photos. If people really hated this, we would have known about this a long time ago before today. Maybe only one person didn't like it. I don't know. Maybe 90% did, 10 didn't, or 90-10 liked it. Maybe it was 75-25. Maybe 25% liked it and 75% hated it. I don't know. I've heard from people who liked it. I've heard from a couple people who didn't like it. But the bottom line is he has to be perfect. There's a group of people out there who clearly want him to fail, and those people are going out of their way to make sure that information gets out.
Okay.
So does Elliot Friedman, first things first, before we get into the meat and potatoes, does Elliot Friedman do stats because he doesn't? Maybe it was one person. He also says that I've heard from a couple of people who didn't like it. Maybe it was only one person didn't like it, but I've heard from a couple of people who didn't like it.
So, when he started saying the maybes, I think he was pointing out the fact he said it could be 75-25, could be 90-10. He was saying it could be any ratio. But it couldn't just be one, because he did say a couple.
Maybe only one person didn't like it. I don't know.
Right. And that's obviously, it's not maybe one, because he's confirmed that he's heard from a couple who did like, a couple who didn't like it. So it's happening is the bottom line I'm hearing.
So basically that says, right, Elliot Friedman, it looks like he's pointing at saying like, well, these guys just hate Babcock. So like, they're just trashing him. That's all it is. Like, when you hate somebody, you trash them. The trash.
Right. Like going out of their way to do that and get the information out there.
What a save. What a save. What
a
save.
Yeah. Quick chats.
Trash.
What a save. Yeah, thanks. Toxic, man. Toxic. AF.
Yeah, people are toxic. So, anyways, this is where he nailed the coffin. So, okay, it's all just bullshit, and it's just a story and whatever. It's just, stuff for podcasts. Well, the NHLPA Executive Director, Marty Walsh, and Assistant Executive Director, Ron Hainsey, are in Columbus today to meet with some Blue Jackets as part of the investigation into why Mike Babcock and viewing of players' phones and photos. So, Ron Hainsey played for him in Toronto. I don't know if he was one of his guys or not. So this could go one of two ways. If Ron Hainsey is tight with Babs because he was a vet and he got played, maybe he liked him. but maybe he didn't. So maybe this could go further. But given that the CJAI.CA traveled to Columbus to meet in person with the team on this, it's fair to assume concerns about the alleged conduct, right?
Yeah.
Also reasonable to expect the union will canvass players from Babcock's previous stops to assess whether this happened before. So they're going to talk to guys in Anaheim, Detroit, Toronto, and see, has he done this before? Is this normal practice? Has he always done this? Are you guys cool with this? Is this a normal thing? Because even those guys are like, we don't know. Is this fucking normal?
Yeah, we
That's
don't know.
weird, man. That's
It's
just so weird.
Yeah, I don't see people being okay with it unless we're not getting an accurate description of how it's going down. Because why would you be okay with that? I would be so weirded out by that if they asked me. Even if I didn't have anything, any weird pictures on my phone, I'd still be like, why? Just why? Like, sure, I have a picture of like a dog and a chair. Like, why do you want to see that anyways? Even if you
To
had
see
nothing
what kind
on
of man
there,
I am.
don't you want to just talk to me? We can figure that out. Like, why are you looking at my phone?
Did you
It's
see
weird.
the clip of Paul Bissonnette talking about it?
No,
Oh my
no.
God, he was very vulgar about it. We were not as vulgar.
I'm sure he said some things. Yeah.
He said some shit. Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, Mike Babcock. It was September 12th when all this came out. Steve Dangle tweets this. It's September 12th. It took to September 12th of the season before he even coached for shit to come out on this guy. And
Yeah.
you guys thought this was a good idea. Good job. Good job, NHL. So
That's great.
I've got some news here, and bear with me.
Okay.
Because I know you're going to be like, what the fuck? But
Sure.
Jim Trotter, a longtime NFL writer and reporter who joined The Athletic earlier this year as a columnist, filed a retaliation lawsuit Tuesday against the NFL and the NFL Network. Trotter, an NFL media employee from 2018 to 2023, alleges his contract was not renewed because, in part, he challenged NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and others in the league regarding the NFL's lack of diversity at the league office. And is claiming that NFL owners have said the following. This is where it becomes relevant.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres owner Terry Pegula apparently said to Jim Trotter, if the black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is there.
That's
in
awful.
reference to player protests against racial injustice.
Man. So Jim Trotter reported that he said that. He's saying
Reported that Terry Pegula,
wow.
the owner of the Bills and the Sabres, and I'm sure other Buffalo franchises,
that guy needs to
said
be
that.
ousted. That's awful.
He also said that Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said to him, if blacks feel some kind of way,
Jesus,
they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire.
Holy fuck.
Regarding the lack of black professionals in decision-making positions on NFL teams.
We'll
so
get
when
him
he
out of there,
asked him
too.
about that,
Fuck
how
that.
come there's a lack of black professionals in decision-making positions on the NFL teams, he was told that. I don't even want to repeat it.
Yeah. No, it's awful. It's awful that people have that opinion and that they're, so powerful in a league that does have diversity and does have a lot of people, fans, and all this kind of stuff. And for a team owner who's big in that league and to say stuff like that and have those opinions is awful. I dislike that opinion very much of those people.
Yeah. Now, of course, they're going to deny it. They would say, I would never say that because they all know better.
Sure.
But did they actually say it? I'm not sure. Terry Pegula actually put out a statement. And in the statement, he said, the statement attributed to me in Mr. Trotter's complaint is absolutely false. I am horrified that anyone would connect me to an allegation of this kind. Racism has no place in our society, and I am personally disgusted that my name is associated with this complaint. So that was Bills owner Terry Pegula said that. I was just saying earlier.
Media.
Yeah, you can't media the media, man.
Yeah. No. It's what it's what he's going to say, obviously.
He's trying to media the media, and the media can't be mediated because they media the media all the time. Media is mediating each other each day.
Yes.
And you can't just put out a statement like that where it's total BS and get away with it.
Yeah.
Nice try, though, guys. Can't wait to see what's going on down in those states with these sports teams. What a totally normal couple of days in sports. Just like
man.
absolutely normal, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is. So, I can't wait for games to start, man.
I know,
like
it's killing me.
Real games.
It's absolutely killing me. Killing me. Well, I think that takes us into our break. So we will hop off.
Sure.
And be
I have
back
music this time.
in 2 to 5 minutes. Going to have a cookie.
Yeah. You do you. We'll be back. Take us back in.
All right. So we're kicking off Split the Defense Hockey Podcast, second half, Thursday edition, uncensored. Love everybody that's here watching, listening, hanging out in the chat. Tim, what's up? It's just you. We got a whole ton more news. I spent way too much time on that, so we'll cruise through a bunch of this and get out of here on time. Carey Price, press conference on if he's at peace with the fact his playing days are all but officially over. He, quote, said, well, most likely, barring a miracle. I'm still under contract, and I still hold on hope to fact I could play again, but the probabilities are falling by the months. He said, I feel like I could go out there at this training camp and make the team. But then I play in a softball tournament, my knee swells up for 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay. A full burden of a season's load, it's just not going to cut it. So he was asked about his contract being traded away if he wasn't able to play. He said, everyone knows hockey is a business. Money management and cap space is a part of that. I'm going to be a Montreal Canadian for the rest of my life. And I'm very proud of that, so I'm willing to help this team in any aspect, whatever the team has to do. If they have to move money to make this team better, I'm here to help in any way I can.
What a beauty.
He's on an LTIR, beauty. So I don't know. They would never have to do that. Why would that ever happen? That would be weird.
It would be weird, but love the statement.
It sounds like Carey Price is done forever and ever and ever again.
Yeah. That's sad. I mean, what a career. What a guy.
You know, it sucks when you don't get to choose. It chooses for you, right?
Yeah.
It's never fun not being in control of your own destiny, and injuries for sports players. That sucks. And, you know, he made millions and millions of dollars, and he's still making $10 million a year. So, like, you can't really, even not playing, he's still getting paid. The whole thing. Yep. All of it. That's what insurance is for. So I'm sure it's great. I'm sure everything's going to be fine there in Montreal, and he's not going to be traded to Arizona, because why would that ever happen? You can use your LTIR now, and it just makes more sense to do so. Right?
Yeah. No, very true.
So, anyways, congratulations to Carey Price on a great career, I guess. I don't really know where to end that, but, like, poor guy, his knee's shot, and he's pretty much fucked.
I know what that's like.
Poor you. Yeah, you were at disc golfing today. How's disc golf?
Low impact on the knees. That's my number one thing. But yeah, no, it was fun, man. It was my first round ever that I played. I had tried it out a little, but never played an actual full round. We did 18 holes. You put a disc in a bag, and because there was like 24 people, so they pulled out groups of 4, and that's how you make your groups. I was with 3 guys that were really nice. Everyone there was really nice. Very helpful. What a cool sport. Try it out if you haven't tried it out. There's so many
Absolutely.
courses around, like the States especially. But oh my God, a few around here too. Some pretty cool ones.
Yeah, I might try it soon here. Might have to before the snow hits.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Vegas Golden Knights have signed Max Comtois to a PTO. Remember we were talking about him a few weeks ago? I thought, I'm like, Anaheim still holds his rights. No, they didn't qualify him.
Okay.
They never
so
qualified him. He was a UFA. So he signed a PTO in Vegas. He was drafted 50th overall in 2017. He's played his whole career with the Ducks. His highest goals are 16 in 55 games in 2020, 2021. That was pretty good. That was a good year. Then, the whole rest of his time, he scored 5 in 29, 6 in 52, 9 in 64.
Okay.
And in those seasons, he's had 11 points. The good season, he had 33 points. Then he had 16 points and 19 points. So he hasn't exactly lit the league up. He hasn't played a full season either the whole time. I don't know whether that's injury or not. But
I wasn't sure there.
Let's just go look at the stats about when he is on the ice.
Yeah.
Because, guys get injured and they don't play, and that's why they don't score very much. But you look through all of this, he hasn't won his minutes in expected goals for since he come into the league. 2018-19, he's 31%, which means the other teams scored 69% of the time. It's actually 68.6
Round up.
6 or something like that.
Yeah, so you got to round up.
68.66, but yeah, 69. Nice.
Nice.
And his highest was actually 49% of the times in the year that he was good, where he scored all those goals. He was still getting scored on more than, and not even, it's just expected goals. So there was more offense being generated against him than he was generating for, which is crazy.
Definitely.
That's absolutely nuts. I had no idea he was so bad. I tried to look at his defensive numbers, and they're not so crazy either. I was like, why were the Leafs linked to this guy? I haven't a clue. Makes no sense.
Weird.
But Vegas sees something in him because they're signing him to
so.
a professional tryout, but they take everybody, and then they won a cup last year, so you can't really think what they're doing is wrong. So,
I know.
Good luck to Max Comtois. Let's see what happens there. Maybe he'll end up on the Leafs after all. The Winnipeg Jets named Adam Lowry their new captain. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah. So Lowry's the third captain since the franchise moved to Winnipeg. And Blake Wheeler was stripped of the captaincy at the beginning of last season. Right? And the Jets played the year without a captain. So I think with Wheeler's departure to New York, they were waiting for him to leave before they named a new captain.
Yeah.
Do you think that I'm right, or do you think it was just all in due time, that they just didn't decide last year and this was the year and
No, it was probably just smart just to wait, to get him out of the picture first. It's smart. Why cause? It's just going to be a media thing again if they do that. Oh, they named a new one while he's still in town, and people. It's just going to be a thing. They're all going to get asked about it a lot. It's just wait, clear the water, clear the air, do the thing.
Media.
Yeah. I guess that's our title for tonight. Can't media the media.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah, I could all be in all due time because you just don't name a captain right away you just lose a captain. You wait a season, see who's got it, which totally makes sense. But it's funny that Lowry's dad was the assistant coach and then the coach for a bit. Wouldn't that be weird being a professional hockey player and your dad's the coach?
Yeah, it's
you
ever
dad,
since minor hockey.
Games,
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll pick you up on the way, son.
Everyone on the team's yeah, fuck that guy. I'm dude, shut up. That's the coach's son, man. Shut up.
Exactly.
The coach is his dad. Don't say shit about it.
Yeah, everybody. Adam walks in the room and everybody just stops talking. Just,
oh. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So
why do you guys always get quiet when I come in here, dude? Your dad is the coach. What do you expect, Adam?
You want to go back and tell the coach.
Yeah, and now you're the captain. Not that he's still the coach, but yeah,
that's hilarious. That's probably not what happens at all.
No.
But that's
No,
hilarious
no.
to think about.
Great scenario.
So moving on, I read this recently. The NHL is open to another expansion franchise in Atlanta.
Yeah.
NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. This was written by Greg Wyshynski, and I'm going to read a whole bunch of blurbs from it. It's NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly is optimistic that a third franchise in Atlanta would yield better results than two previous failed expansion teams in the market. I think some of the challenges that we've seen in the past in Atlanta can be overcome, Daly told ESPN. Having said that, particularly with the success of Vegas and Seattle expansions, there are more people who want to own professional hockey teams. I think times have changed pretty dramatically and the market demographics have changed pretty dramatically since the first time we went there, and then again in 1999, he said. I think a lot of bigger businesses are in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
I also think rink location will be important with any decision to locate a franchise in Atlanta, Daly said. I think if you use the Braves as an example, they struggled, and as I understand it, attendance-wise for years, even though they had a very successful team on the field. Their latest stadium is in a perfect location, and it sells out regularly.
So, yeah, location. It's big.
So, to break that apart, they already had the Atlanta Flames. Then that failed and went to Calgary. Then they had the Atlanta Thrashers, and that failed and went to Winnipeg. Is that what happened there?
Atlanta Thrashers.
Yeah, they became Winnipeg.
Yes.
So we've already lost two. So if they put another franchise in Atlanta, you know what that means, right?
Either third time's a charm or bad things come in threes.
Canada's getting another franchise.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
The first one went to Calgary. The second one went to Winnipeg. This one's probably going to be like in, I'd say Saskatchewan, but there's nobody in Saskatchewan. I don't know. Out east, maybe? There's lots of people out east.
That would be so cool to have like a Halifax team
cool.
or something.
New Brunswick or something like that.
Yeah, Sure.
Yeah, sort of just go the whole province. And people could travel from all over. It's only a couple hours to the islands and Nova Scotia, and you've got Quebec right there, so you could have all those fans packing in.
For
Quebec's
sure.
fucking huge. I drove through Quebec this summer. It's absolutely massive. I had to ask my dad when we got there. I'm like, Dad, is Quebec the biggest province? Like, I'm pretty sure I learned that in school, but like, it's got to be, right? Like, it's fucking huge. I looked it up. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's massive. Quebec's huge. But anyways, there is definitely a chance for another franchise in Atlanta. And there's definitely a chance that if that franchise fails, that franchise could end up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Exactly.
He noted that Vegas and Seattle worked very well. So he's pretty much open to anybody who wants to own a professional hockey team, because lots of people want to own them. He said there are more people who want to own professional hockey teams now that those two have been successful.
True.
And it is the year 2023, not the year 1999. I do agree that the city of Atlanta probably has grown a lot, and they could probably withhold or substantiate, use all the wrong words here, hold up a franchise now. Sustain.
There it is.
That's the word. See, I sustained that at the end. Did you see how I did that?
Nice. Good segues tonight for sure.
Anyways, so I'm pretty sure that they could sustain a franchise now. Point.
Yeah.
Moving on. So this shit was another bit of craziness. Audie James on Twitter posted something that came from Habs Fan TV, and it said Habs Fan TV tweets, Habs Fan TV. Their tweet reads, former NHLer Andrew Shaw had a few words for Habs legend PK Subban in the comments of an Instagram post celebrating PK's success. Thoughts on this? So it reads, you do know his teammates hated him, right?
Wow. That's what Andrew Shaw
Yeah.
said in the
He
comments.
also replied to it as somebody else who commented, and the reply says, well, it probably says more than one reason I dislike him. In brackets, it says he's a bad, arrogant person who only cares about himself.
Whoa.
Decides to throw that all over Instagram.
Shots fired.
So I remember all of this, but I can't bring up every single point. And I was going to, but this was, end of the show. Lots of stuff to look into. This Mike Babcock thing was so crazy. Just reading about it and looking into it all day. And
Yeah.
oh my God, it's just nuts. Then, work and life. But so far, Andrew Shaw on the internet has been homophobic, victim blamed Kyle Beach, and is trying to stay relevant by saying other people were bad teammates.
Yeah.
So Audie James posted that, who is host of Game Over Calgary.
That's funny.
On SDPN. And that is just absolutely nuts. Like, Andrew Shaw, stay off the internet. Somebody take his phone.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not really, doesn't really have a place to say stuff like that.
No, that's like, read the room, man. Like, know when you've gone too far. Holy smokes.
Seriously. Take the hint, man. That's funny.
So, in other news, for Michael Backlund, the decision of whether or not to extend his NHL career in Calgary will almost solely come down to the Flames' place in the standings. Now, why that's relevant? Because we've talked about a few players now on the Calgary Flames. Elias Lindholm, Noah Hannafin, and now Michael Backlund have a collective message when asked if they'd prolong their stay in Calgary. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
They're not good. They're gone. They want to win, which is kind of cool because that's great. You love players like that. But I would be looking for Calgary to be going hard in this year, especially after paying Huberdeau and Kadri and not wanting to lose Elias Lindholm, Michael Backlund. Michael Backlund, you could, but he's been there for a long time. And Noah Hannafin. So if you want to, I think Noah Hannafin's gone either way. Like, Noah Hannafin's an American playing in Calgary. If you're an American playing in Calgary, do you want to stay playing in Calgary, Ted?
Unless they're winning? No, probably not.
But dude, like, have you been to Calgary? Winners suck there.
Yeah, it's awful. Oh my God.
It's terrible. It's not fun. It's not fun here. Like, Canada is not as fun for somebody who's grown up in the U.S., right? Especially when it's just a few hours away from nice weather. So,
yeah. Well, exactly. Winter there is like a bad Tinder date. Comes way too early.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. So, Carolina Hurricanes signed forward Zach Aston Reese to a professional tryout. Aston Reese played for the Leafs last year. Remember that?
Yep.
And he's definitely not playing with the Leafs again this year. He signed a professional tryout last year with the Leafs and then ended up signing for a weird number over league men. It was like as much money as they could possibly give him to fit him under the cap. They'd drawn up all these scenarios, and we have a player that can maximum have this. And they're like, that's what we can pay you. And he's like, I will take that. Thank you very much. So he's probably doing something along the lines the same with the Carolina Hurricanes because they're notoriously cheap, right? If you didn't know, Carolina does not like to spend money. So they probably he's going to go feel it what he can get. They're going to be cap crunching. And then he'll probably sign a deal because he's definitely an NHL forward. Like, I loved Zach Aston Reese last year. There were times where he was a little ghosty, but when the man goes, he goes. Like,
yes,
he's not like the famous Austin Matthews quote with Willie, when he's going, he's going. But it's very similar. When he's going, he's going. Right? Like,
yeah. There are lots of guys like that. I love guys like that. When they're going, they're going.
Absolutely. What's going on with the girls? PWHL draft. to be hosted at the CBC headquarters in Toronto, live streamed by CBC Sports on September 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. September 18th better be a weekend.
It's a Monday.
What is that?
I don't know. I'll
We
watch
work.
it. I
Well,
work
I
from home
work.
on Mondays. I'll throw it on.
Well, that'll
I
be
know.
sweet.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll check
so
it out for
stoked
us.
to see who Toronto gets. Oh, man.
It's gonna be exciting.
Minnesota has the first pick. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Toronto's got a mid pick. I don't know. I don't think they have second. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that back up. We talked about that a few weeks ago. But
Yes.
I know they don't have first overall. That's all that matters. But it's a snake
Yeah.
draft, so it'll be interesting to see because like the last person gets 2 picks in a row, right?
Exactly.
Which isn't a terrible thing to have, right? And
No,
then doesn't the first overall gets 2 picks in a row eventually too? The first and last both get 2
they
picks
will the
overall.
next.
Yeah.
Yep. They will
Yeah.
the next time. Yeah.
Yeah, could we done that for fantasy? Fantasy hockey's coming up. Absolutely. So I have a question for you. This is totally off the board, and I just was thinking about it. It's a great topic. If you had the 4th overall pick in a fantasy draft,
Yeah.
and Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Austin Matthews, and Cale Makar, or we're gonna go Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, and Cale Makar, because I know your love. Is
Well-
Leon Draisaitl the next number 4? Is that an
Yeah.
automatic lock?
I
Yeah.
think so. Because he's usually, if anything, I would say maybe top.
So you're pretty
3.
much set with any top 4 pick. So who's 5?
So what do we say? So McDavid.
McDavid, Matthews, Makar, McKinnon. Wow.
And-
McDavid, Matthews, Makar, McKinnon. And then who's
Yeah,
5?
your name. Draisaitl,
And then
right?
Draisaitl. Yeah.
Yeah. If anything,
So
I
5.
think he might be above.
So you're good in the
Makar.
top 5. So it really doesn't matter as long as you're good in the first top 5. You're going to have a good player in the first
You've
round.
got
a
a
really
star.
great player, a star player.
Yeah.
Any one of those players could be probably swapped except for Connor McDavid, who's definitely going to get picked first by anybody who's not me. Except I'd probably pick him first now. If I got first pick, I'm not screwing around this year. Like, let's just put the man in. Now he's going to come in and just have a so-so year, get hurt, something stupid, like
You
but-
pick him, yeah.
jinx the poor guy.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I have a story written by Greg Wyshynski, another one, Greg Wyshynski from ESPN. And I just want to make you feel old for a second.
Oh, I get that enough, but all right, bring it on.
Connor Bedard was born on July 17th, 2005. Just under 2 weeks before Sidney Crosby was drafted first overall by the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, wow.
I remember
Interesting
when
tie-in.
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
got...
Me too.
And Connor McDavid was a brand new baby. Or Connor Bedard was a brand new baby. And now he's in the league. Dude,
He's like the next generation.
he might be getting old when.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Oh,
So
wow.
Greg wrote a story about the rookies and who they looked up to, and Connor's was Sidney. Obviously, I think that's obvious. That's what he said in it anyways. Matthew Nyes. You could have never guessed who Matthew Nyes picked.
Austin Matthews.
No.
Oh,
Try and pick another Arizona Coyote. An Arizona Coyote legend because he was a Coyote.
Shane Doan.
Somebody who played there for a while. No. No, not Shane Doan.
Jeremy Roenick.
No.
Someone who played for Arizona, like a big name.
Yeah, I know the name. You'll know the
Okay.
name too as soon as I say it. They played there for a long time, and this
A
is who
long
Matthew
time.
Nyes looked up to.
Okay,
Okay, it's Michael Bodker.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember that name. Wait, what, is he? He's from Denmark or something, or Switzerland or something.
Uh,
I think.
Danish.
remember him-
Yeah, he was
okay.
Danish, so Denmark. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Danish-born winger,
Sweet.
played 8 seasons with the Coyotes.
Yeah.
And that was
Wow.
Matthew Nyes' favorite player. So he says, that's
Cool.
why I wore 89 growing up. And I said, just really
Was-
fast, really speedy. He was quick and scored goals. I think he was the most electric player on the team at that time.
Cool.
That's
That's fun.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Michael
so he was
Bodker.
watching a
I
lot of.
totally remember Michael Bodker.
Yeah,
I was like,
definitely.
him?
I would.
Okay.
I do now that you say it. But yeah, I wouldn't have pulled that out of the back of my memory. But yeah, totally, Michael Podker.
So not very
Cool.
often you get to work with your idols, right? Ridley
Yeah.
Gregg of the Ottawa Senators was asked who his idol was growing up watching hockey, and he admitted it was Claude Giroux,
Oh,
who now
cool.
plays in Ottawa with him, and he gets to share a locker room with his idol.
I got the Giroux jersey right there.
Yeah, the Flyers won,
Yeah, the Flyers one.
not the Senators won.
No, I don't have
Need to
that.
change it.
No,
Doesn't fit anymore.
hey, I got a few of those. Got a few that don't exactly fit anymore.
So to finish up, we will check in. The Leafs are at the Traverse City Prospect Camp. The game was supposed to be streamed, but that didn't happen or was cut short because there was a delay in play due to some sort of issue along the boards or glass. Info was sparse. It was hard to get anything on it, so I have no idea why. But there are two rinks at Center Ice Arena in Traverse City. The Mullen Rink is where the games are usually held, and then David's Rink, an ice pad where they used to use when this prospects tourney had as many as 8 teams in it. There was just 4 this year, so they're just doing it on the main rink, which they call the Mullen Rink. So this had a problem on the Mullen Rink. They moved to David's Rink. It was supposed to be televised, and now it wasn't. So I didn't get to watch that game this afternoon, which sucked because I totally could have, and it would have been sweet to see the rookies playing in there because it's an all-rookie or prospect tournament. Sorry, an all-prospect tournament. So leading the way for the top prospects are Matthew Nyes. He played.
Cool.
He played 3 regular season games and 7 playoff games last season for the Leafs, and he scored 5 points in 10 games total, mostly in the playoffs. 5 points in 10 games total, yeah. So, you can't complain in that, right? He was
and he was
half
great in
a
the
point
playoffs.
game player, and in his rookie, the very first try in the playoffs, that's nuts. He was a great player. Then we also have Fraser Minton, who was the Leafs' second-round pick last year, and he played for the Kamloops Blazers, and he's definitely headed back there because he is not 20 yet, and he hasn't played 4 seasons in the OHL. So that's how that works. I just figured that out just recently. That if you either play 4 seasons in the OHL or you are over 20 years old, then you can't go to the AHL, right? You have to go back to your club. So he's definitely going back to his junior club. Ty Voigt is 20 years old now, so he is AHL eligible. So this camp is really something trying to show himself. Roni Hirvonen, he was a Marley last year, and he's going to be going back to camp trying to fight for a job again, right? Now this is just a prospect tournament, but they're still being showcased, right? They're still being watched. They're still earning their spot for when it comes to training camp. And then we had Easton Cowan, who was drafted 28th overall in 2023. Yes. He was at the prospect tournament. I wish I could have watched this game. It would have been so sick.
No kidding, yeah.
But he's headed back to London. We had Ryan Turberg. He played 7 games for the Marlies last season. Ovechnikov, he was a Marley. And then this guy named Robert Master-Simone. He signed a 1-year contract with the Marlies. The former Boston University transfer played 1 season for Arizona State Hockey and led the team in goals, assists, points, obviously, and face-off percentage and shots last season. So he was just wrecking house. Max Ellis, who was a Marley. Brandon Lazowski, who was a 7th rounder overall, and he's played in Saskatoon for 4 seasons, so now he's AHL eligible. He'll be fighting for an AHL job. Braden Kressler from the Flint Firebirds, he's 20 years old now, so he'll be fighting for an AHL job. Jordan Frasca played 8 games in the AHL with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and Frasca was in the AECHL with the Wheeling Nailers before that, sorry. It says trailers, but it auto-corrected, and it's definitely the Wheeling Nailers.
Yeah.
And then we had some goalies there, which I think are going to be good. Vyacheslav Peksa, and I think that's probably the best one that's going to be. Luke Kavalin, I don't know much about him. He was an undrafted CHL free agent. So those are who's at the tournament, and that's what's going on with the Baby Leafs right now.
That's
we
awesome.
We have so much more to talk about, but we will be back.
Yeah.
All good things must come to an end.
Yep.
And roll the music, so let's talk.
We'll get on out of here.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to miss y'all. We'll be back on Tuesday. Monday night, 9 p.m.
Monday night we'll be live.
And we have a special guest.
We do.
Somebody actually really, really cool. I think everybody listening is going to love him. So we look forward to seeing you again, you seeing us again, talking to everybody. You're listening to Split the Defense Hockey Podcast. I'm Jordan. He's Ted. We're out of here.
Peace.